Thanks for watching. Sorry for taking so long to get the first review of 2019 out. I know it isn't ideal, but I promise you I got a ton of cool stuff coming up real soon. A ton of cool stuff coming up real soon. Coming up real soon. Real soon. Real soon. Real soon. Look, I was depressed, alright? Get off my back!
Stupid.
For decades now, the shooter has been an integral part of gaming culture. Regardless of how much or how little you may personally play them, it's impossible to deny the impact the genre has had ever since the breakout success of Doom in 1993. Today you can find all kinds of shooters, from first person, third person, second person... what would that even look like? There's of course the aforementioned Doom, other titles such as Overwatch or Battlefront, more family-friendly alternatives like Splatoon, and you can't go 5 minutes on Steam without seeing some kind of Call of Duty or Battlefield clone. Yes, it seems like for better or worse, the shooter is very much here to stay. And sadly for all of you, this is definitely going to be for the worse. Sometimes, you just see something, and you're left not only speechless, but thoughtless as well. I mean, how could I think of anything when confronted with this? What reasonable human cognition could I possibly summon from the depths of my conscious or unconscious mind to adequately express a response to this? Somebody did this. This was made by a real-life person. A company created and approved this to be sold. I mean, what kind of sick, twisted people would actually... Alright, for those unaware, I feel I have to explain a few things. This is the logo of Phoenix Games, a company infamous for releasing several games on the PlayStation 2. And no, I'm not putting games in quotation marks as some kind of a sly jab, because their categorization as games is honestly up for debate if you ask me. The small amount of interactive media you'd find on these discs basically just amounts to the lowest effort copy and pasted funtivities, such as slide puzzles, worse than Mario Paint clones, and fuck it, I don't know, the language select screen is interactive, I guess? But the minigames themselves aren't what made the company notable. Oh no. It was actually a combination of two things. The first was the cringe-tastically bad and often copyright-infringing covers for games such as Dalmatians 3, Son of the Lion King, and Snow White and the Seven Clever Boys. Snow White and the Seven Clever Boys. Snow White and the Seven... The second thing Phoenix Games are known for are the abysmal cartoons they would include on the discs of their games. Usually at least vaguely relating to the images displayed on the front of the box, these animated catastrophes are honestly almost indescribable in their terribleness. Some of the absolute worst animation, voice acting, and audio syncing you will ever bear witness to. Not to mention half the time they're just utterly incomprehensible. If they're not zooming through the story of a classic Disney film at breakneck speed, they're wasting up to 40 minutes of your life slogging through one of their original stories that they probably just made up as they went along. I don't really have any more time to go into these things right now, so I'll just say that if anybody watching this video has not heard of Phoenix Games or their cartoons before, consider yourself lucky because you are really not missing out on anything. Well, you know, except that. But with all that said, we come to this. Shoot. What kind of a fucking title is that? And what the hell is up with this box art? It looks like someone took the guy from the Resident Evil cover and injected him with bootleg steroids. Look at the size of his hands. Why does his gun look like a telescope? He's dressed like Dean Ambrose for some reason, and why the fuck doesn't my camera want to focus on this damn thing? Wait a second. Oh my fucking god. Okay, what you're seeing here is a picture of the game's inlay taken with my fancy 4K camera. You know, the one I used to film these videos with. Now, as we move in closer, you can very clearly see from the sharpness of the PlayStation logo in the corner that this cover is in fact totally in focus, but the artwork is so low resolution that it just looks like it isn't. Who allowed this? Oh yeah. Taking a look at the back of the box, we can find out what this game is about. Banne dir deinen Weg durch 7 herausfordernde Spiele, bei denen du den Gegner vernichten und überlisten musst. Du wirst all dein Geschick und schnelle Reaktionen benötigen, um den feindlichen Laser- und Raketenangriffen aus dem Weg zu gehen, während du selber deinen wagemütigen Angriff vorbereitest. You thought you could hide this information from me by putting it in a different language, but that won't stop me.
Ich bin nicht aufzuhalten.
Alright, I've been putting it off for long enough now. Let's actually get this fucker in the PS1 and suffer through it together. Now, unlike most games which start off with various company logos and legal guff, Shoot just takes you straight to the main menu. I mean, I guess that's efficient, I just thought it was fucking illegal. The first game is called Wild West. Now what an evocative yet vague title that is. Brings to the mind imagery of dusty frontier townships, tumbleweeds, train robberies, outlaws, and heroic cowboys. Or a dude with 5 arms and 3 heads. What in the actual fuck is this? I didn't realize the Wild West was known for its mutants. Also, there's no music here, which is slightly concerning. Oh, hi, Scores. Oh, and before we move on, I don't know if any of you realized it yet, but that is clearly fucking Hitler. We're barely 2 minutes into this shit, and we've already got a 5-armed, 3-headed Hitler in a poncho and fedora introducing us to the Wild West minigame. Do I really have to keep playing this? Really? Huh. Alright then. Well, I just got off the phone with my lawyers, and apparently, yes. So, Wild West starts up and... Oh, what's happening? I can't move. What's going on? Game? Help? Oh. I'm dead. How wonderful. Okay, let's try... Ah! It's a D-pad game. Thanks for letting me know. Wait, what? In this game, you take the role of a discounted bootleg McCree as you try to shoot people inside these buildings while avoiding their return fire. The keyword being try. Because this game only uses the D-pad, you don't have the ability to move your character and aim your gun separately, meaning that in order to move your reticule left, you hit left. But to move your character left, you hit left. Why the fuck can't Mick Cree here just move his arms? Why does he have to walk all the way to the other side of the alley in order to shoot people in the second building? Also, you probably haven't noticed since I added some in post, but like the menus, this minigame has absolutely no music, and spoiler alert, but none of the other games on this disc have any either. Shoot by Phoenix Games is 100% music free. Which I guess means we can just add whatever music we want.
Are you sure about that?
Killing enemies will sometimes reward you with bonus points, which contribute to your overall high score, which, frankly, is just fucking useless, but it can also reward you with different types of guns to use in the stage. Although, considering that everyone here is a one-shot kill anyway, what is the actual point? And you know, I really gotta start questioning the historical accuracy of this game. I mean, it's themed decently enough. Michael Cree here looks the part fine, but I do have to ask, were bright green trousers and cyan blue shirts particularly popular in the Wild West? I don't know, just seems like you'd stand out a bit. I'm sorry, but is that a fucking Uzi? In the late 1800s? I must have missed that update to Red Dead 2. There really isn't much else to this game. I mean, it's playable, the controls suck ass, but you can adapt to them. I'm just not sure why you'd actually want to. Although it is nice to see that one of the characters I play in Red Scott Gaming Xenoverse series has the top score.
Well, of course I do. It's my favorite video game.
Shut up, Clint! Nobody likes you! The next game on the list is War Drones, and here we... Good God! What the hell is that thing? It looks like someone tried to make the medical droid from Empire Strikes Back sexy. And they failed. The game begins upside down, and before you know it, you're a mech flying over the wall textures from Silent Hill and... Oh, I'm dead already. Fantastic. Oh, Jesus, this game is not stable. So, in War Drones, you take control of a bipedal mech flying through the air, avoiding missiles and trying to shoot down enemy fighters. Once again, the emphasis being on trying. There's no real way to aim in this game, you just move the mech up, down, left or right and it shoots straight forward. Now you might think that if you just get directly behind enemies you'll automatically hit them when you shoot, but you can't really see where on your massive mech the bullets are coming from, and the enemies themselves are so small you end up eclipsing them, just making it nearly impossible to line up a good shot. On top of that, when you actually do get lucky and hit something, is it satisfying? Do you feel accomplished? Do you at least experience a small semblance of pride that you managed to overcome the terrible controls? No, you feel nothing. It is a hollow and meaningless victory. Like finishing a 20-piece share box of Chicken McNuggets all by yourself. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I have no self-control. Your only other option for combat is your missiles. You'll automatically target enemy fighters, and when you're fully locked on, you can press circle to fire a missile and blow them up. Inversely, they'll also fire missiles back at you. When a projectile is approaching, a red circle will flash on the back of your legs to let you know you need to move out of the way. Also, anytime you die in the game, the frame rate decides to join you. That's how you know we're dealing with a high-quality product. This isn't the worst thing I've ever played, but it's certainly not good. So let's just move on, shall we? Up next is Space Rebellion. Ah yes, my favourite sci-fi franchise. I love the bit when Lunk Skywalker fought against his uncle Kevin in the Death Star. Alright, Space Rebellion, show me what you got. Excuse me, bitch? That is just the previous level with different models and a new sky texture. Literally everything is the same. The sound effects, the UI, the shitty controls. And now that we're playing as a starfighter in this one, I can finally see that it's clearly trying to be Star Fox. See? You even go through rings and shit. Just like in Okay, to be honest, I've never actually played Star Fox, but this looks a lot like it, and I assume that's on purpose. By the way, there's no way to actually exit these stages. The pause menu does, well, exactly that. It pauses. So in order to escape this hell, you have to run out of lives. Seriously? Now, I'm no game developer, but surely an option to quit the game and go back to the main menu couldn't be that hard to program. Then again, looking at how terrible these 3 or 2 games have been so far, I wouldn't be surprised if they just got the bloke who drew the box art to code the whole thing as well. After that debacle, we have G-Squad, or G-Squad as I'm now going to pronounce it. Here we seem to take the role of a mech pilot in a first-person view as we shoot down other mechs in a variety of different environments, from a city, to a city at night, a city in fog, and, oh, an army base. G-Squad is probably the most complex game we've played so far, as it actually has some kind of strategy to it. Not that you can really focus on that with all this shit on the screen! To cut a long story short, this, and all of this shit is fucking useless. It's just window dressing, only meant to look like it matters. The only thing you really need to focus on are your weapon selections, your health bar, and maybe the map. All of this is just distracting bullshit. Speaking of distracting bullshit, this big red gun sight looking thing in the center of the screen? Yeah, that's not your aiming reticule. It's actually your hitbox. It's what the enemies are aiming for, and if one of their shots lands in it, you lose health. This tiny, barely noticeable green thing? That is your aiming reticule, and yes, this game uses the same control scheme Wild West does in that your whole body moves as you aim. Because, you know, it was so good before! The way that this game has some semblance of strategy or complexity is the fact that you have 3 unique weapons to cycle through. The laser, which is powerful but overheats quickly. The machine gun, which does less damage but you can keep firing it. And the missiles, which are basically just a screen wipe attack. But no, that's not enough, G-Squad. Your 3 weapons don't mean shit if I can't actually tell what's happening half the time. No matter how much I remind myself that this isn't my aiming reticule, I keep forgetting that and end up trying to use it as one, meaning I just keep getting hit and killed and oh look, the game is over, how bloody fortunate. Up next is F22. What? F22 what? I'm 22, at least I am until the 25th of May. Look, we haven't got much time, game, I need to know. F22 what? Okay, that is a huge fucking airplane. This isn't how perspective works. 0 out of 10. That's just the same as the other games, though! I can't believe you would just put the same game on the disc 3 times! You have 2 chances left, Phoenix Games. 2 chances to prove to me that you at least tried at some point. Next is Ace, where I assume we'll be playing as the 7th Doctor's punk rock companion of the same name. Well, maybe we'll get to beat the shit out of a Dalek with a baseball bat. That sounds like it could be fun. Sweet fucking... Who did this to Steve Buscemi?
I want names!
So, in Ace, It's just Wild West again. But you play as a bootleg Ninja Brian. Honestly, this game wouldn't be so bad if you used both analog sticks. Being able to move and aim separately might actually make this work. But no, we're stuck with the asinine control scheme that makes me want to cut off my own thumbs. And why leave it at wanting? Every enemy is exactly the same as they were in Wild West. The level I'm pretty sure is just a retexture, and if you manage to beat Stage 1, Stage 2 is literally the same area, just panned slightly to the right. Hallelujah. Really? That's how I'm writing this in the script? Finally, mercifully, we come to Air Rescue. The last game, the final inclusion in this collection of shooters Phoenix Games has cursed us with on this day. I know it's going to be bad, I'm expecting that, but can it please be something different? Anything but another model swap of the same shit we've already seen before. Just give me this one, please. You know, I really don't know what I expected. Of course it's just the same flying game as the others. Why wouldn't it be? They didn't try before, so why start now? Also, how the fuck is this air rescue? I see that we're in the air, but who's being rescued? I'll tell you who. It's me, and I'm being rescued from playing this game. Basically... I mean, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? I knew this game was going to be bad, Phoenix Games' reputation more than precedes it, but this was like a religious experience. But instead of meeting God or learning some deep truth about the universe, St. Peter just kicked me in the stomach and told me to piss off. I would have much preferred a 30-minute long cartoon. At least I could have laughed at how bad it was and not wanted to chop off my own thumbs by the end of it. The minigames on their own weren't the worst things ever, but when you put them all together in this neat little package of medical waste, it becomes an absolute chore to suffer through. I've played bad games before. I've even played games that recycle earlier content for later stages, but never have I come across something so lazily slapped together as this. To reuse the same minigame for 4 of your 7 stages is unacceptable. That's over half the game. Not to mention Wild West and Ace being the same damn thing. I seriously cannot fathom how a human being with any shred of integrity or shame would make this, send it to get approved by Sony as an officially licensed product, and then charge people money for it. If it even did cost money, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they just distributed the game directly to public bins for any soul brave or stupid enough to pick them up. If you couldn't tell, I don't like this game very much, and it only deserves one fate. I'm actually not gonna do that. That's a terrible idea. First of all, the fumes from the burning plastic are really dangerous, and I could burn myself or like burn the whole room down, so I'm not gonna do this. Hey, thanks for watching. I do apologise for this video being so late. As I said before, I was dealing with a lot of emotional issues during late March and much of April, but I'm all good now. Not sure how long that will last, but we'll see. Before I get to the question of the day, I'd like to thank my backers on Patreon. Aaron Laureline, Bree B, Feely Damon, Liz Lilith Jameson, and Joshua Alexander. Thank you all so much for your support. If you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, a link to that can be found in the description, but I reiterate that there is absolutely no obligation for you to donate anything if you either can't or simply don't want to. It's just something that's there. My question of the day is, what's your favourite shooter game? For me, well, I'm not really sure. Probably Overwatch? It's hard to say. Hopefully you'll have an easier time answering than I did. With that said, if you liked the video, don't forget to give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, @TheTransHeel. I've been MayRey, and I'll see you all next time. If you couldn't tell, I don't like this game very much, and it deserves one fate. Ow, I burnt myself.